There is a language the world cannot hear, a conversation that passes between hearts without a single word. It lives in the pauses, the spaces stretched between breaths, the quiet that grows heavy, with everything left unsaid. I have learned to listen to the silence between us. It is not empty. It carries the weight of your absence, the shape of your hand, even when it is not mine to hold. It hums with memory, with longing, with the things we were too afraid to speak. In the desert, the silence is loud, a living thing. It moves with the wind, settles in the curves of the dunes, wraps around me, like the presence of someone who has never truly gone. And in that stillness, I feel you more vividly than I ever did. In the chaos of words, I remember the spaces we shared, not the conversations, but the quiet moments when your gaze rested on me and the world fell away. The air between us was electric, filled with everything we felt, but could not name. Even now, long after distance has come, and time has stretched its hands, that silence speaks. It tells me you are here, though not beside me. It tells me our story was never about the spoken word, but about the invisible threads that tied us together and continue to tie us across space, across time. No matter how far I walk, no matter how deep the night, that quiet voice remains, a tether I cannot break. I have learned to honor it, to let it teach me what words could never convey: the truth of longing, the beauty of restraint, the love that does not need a name to exist. Sometimes the loudest things are said in silence. Sometimes the deepest bonds are held in the spaces where nothing is spoken. The desert knows this. It does not shout. It does not need to. It stretches endlessly, holding the weight of suns and moons, storms and calm, in quiet majesty. And in its silence, I find a mirror of us, our love unspoken, yet undeniable, etched into the very air, like the curve of a dune that no wind can erase. Sometimes I stand beneath the stars and let the quiet wash over me, listening to what is not said. I feel your presence in every shadow, every sigh of wind, every shimmer of moonlight on the sand. And though I cannot touch you, though your voice no longer reaches my ears, I am held by silence, by memory, by the invisible strength of the bond that will not break. Love exists in many forms, not always in laughter, not always in words, but in the spaces between, where truth lives quietly, where hearts recognize each other without needing proof. And it is there that I find you still, a constant pulse, a shadow beside me, a quiet presence that speaks louder than any voice. Tonight, I do not fight the silence. I do not fill it with words or excuses. I sit, I breathe, I feel, and in that stillness, I understand our story is not lost. It lives in the pauses, in the spaces, in the quiet that refuses to end. The silence between us speaks, and I am finally listening. The stars hang low tonight, 1,000 tiny lanterns, lighting the way across the dark sky. Each one seems to whisper a story of lives, of love, of moments that pass without a sound. I close my eyes and listen, not to the voices of the world, but to the silence that binds me to you, the quiet language we once spoke, with eyes, with touch, with heartbeats. I have learned that silence is not an absence. It is the presence of something more. It is the space where words fall short, where love cannot be captured in simple phrases. It is the air between two souls, where meaning is shared, not in what is said, but in what remains unspoken. And that silence, it lingers long after the last word has been spoken, long after the last goodbye was said. The desert, vast and endless, holds the same silence, a stillness that stretches beyond the horizon, silent yet full of life, full of history. It remembers the whispers of those who walked before. It holds the echoes of footsteps, of laughter, of longing. It teaches me that some things cannot be told, only felt. I walk now, alone, but not truly alone. In every grain of sand, in every gust of wind, I feel you beside me, the way you always did, a presence that cannot be erased, a bond too deep to sever. I do not need to speak, to know that you are with me. The silence between us is enough. Sometimes I find myself reaching for what no longer exists. Your voice, your touch, the way you would stand beside me, silent but knowing, understanding without words. In those moments, I feel the weight of absence, the ache of longing. That comes when you realize that nothing will ever be the same again. But I do not fight it. I do not resist the quiet, for in it I find a kind of peace, a knowing that you are still with me, in every moment of silence, in every pause between breaths. We no longer speak, but somehow we are still speaking to each other, in a language that cannot be heard, only felt. I sit beneath the endless sky, feeling the cool night air kiss my skin, and in that